Okay, here's a recap. This is a day or so after. One of the boys, young man, he got it looks like a eastern whitetail. It's a 4x4, which makes it an 8 point, but it looks like a it looks like a whitetail 8 point. His daddy was probably a whitetail. They're not too far. They're probably 20 miles from here where the whitetail are on some of this Little Snake River properties over here where the Little Snake River runs through. Baggs and Savory and Dixon and part of the Three Forks ranches. They got acreage everywhere. We're about 35 miles as the crow flies over the mountains from Three Forks Ranch Lodge. And so, but anyway, after my little fiasco of turning arse over tea kettle over there, I decided to come back and shoot my gun. Needed to. And I got, I'm sorry about that, I got a surprise. A very big surprise. I reload my shells and I watch for excessive pressure marks and split necks. Never in my life, ever figure, because I have cut brass just to see what's in there and how they are. And they are, toward the base, they are super, super, super thick. Well, I must have shot this one too many times and reloaded it. Let the fire on the inside burn the brass up, because there it is. This is what I pulled out. I just got this out, and I had to use one of my leather strops on the board to tap my bolt handle back because I could not pull it out. And I dang sure wasn't going to beat on it with nothing else, so I just used that. And I don't know if you, there it is, right above the center cap right there, and the primer sets an extractor pin impression. They got a pin in there that holds pressure on them. So, and that primer is very, very, very flat. So evidently something happened that I may have loaded this in a little hot without knowing it. And that is, it's not an impossibility, but it's like 99.9% that didn't happen that way. But it's showing signs that it did happen that way. I'm kind of anal about this now. And I'll tell you why. Right here's why. There's a bomb 6 inches in front of my face going off. A bomb of my own making. So I am not taking chances. I try to stay well within SAMI specs for it. And the math says that the powder I'm putting in and everything else runs right with factory ammunition, 2,960 feet per second for a 180 grain projectile. That's what I want. That's what I need. If I have to buy a box while I'm out, that's what I want it to be based on, so I don't have to reset my scope. But now with the Barnes X bullets that I'm using, they run a little quicker. I mean, with the same stuff in there than the per se Core-Lokt or the silver tips from Winchester. But and you know, that wasn't the only thing that it done. Now this part of the brass stayed in the gun in the chamber. Now, when it come out, this didn't want to come out. Well, it didn't come out till we pulled the bore snake in it backwards. Went from the muzzle in. You're not supposed to do that, but when things happen that way, things happen that way. You can see at the end of it's all ragged and everything. Now this end of here is probably about 80 thousandths thick, if not more, 80 or 90 thousandths thick. It's pretty thick. And this end of it, it's not too thick. It's probably 40 or so. I'm guessing. I hadn't really cut one apart just to mark it and see, but comparatively speaking, this is double or triple thickness of the neck. And that's the reason I ask, make sure you check for neck splits. Well, it also done this and this to it. I have no earthly reason, don't know. I'll come. And I looked. When I fell and picked my gun up, there's a little mud on the end of it, but nothing up in it. I didn't see anything up in it, or anything. So, I just brushed it off, and there was no hole where the end of the barrel had been stuck in the dirt or the mud. Nothing. It's just there. So, could it have got a stick way up in there? I don't think so, but it might have. But surely it would have fallen out the way I carry it and barrel down most of the time. And so, anyway, but that's what happened. And I was the right height and a little bit left. And that could have been from this round. And my buddy said it sounded a little off. So it may have been hot loaded, I don't know. But I go U.S. Marines on safety and load. I weigh the brass and I weigh the bullets and I weigh each and every powder charge that I throw. Every one of them. And they all go in different. When I put it in the shell, put the powder in, I move the shell. I move it to a completely different side of the my loading board. And so I don't know how I done it, but I don't know. I'm just lucky. Lucky I shoot a Remington, I guess, because it's got that 3 rings of steel. Right there, it's got the chamber, the housing, and then the bolt face. All of them 3 hardened pieces of steel. So anyway, that was an eye opener. I used a lead sled to shoot it in, so I wouldn't act well. I was there, but I didn't have. It was safer than just holding it up and shooting it. So anyway, I just thought I'd update this here. Everybody's the boy that shot the mule deer. He had a mandatory. He had to take it into town for mandatory testing, so that he could for CWD. So he had to do that, and I caped it out for him best I could. Hopefully it'll be all right. He's going to have it mounted, so hopefully they'll give it back to him. Even if it does test positive, sure they'll just cut the horns off of it and let him have the horns back and tell us to throw the meat away. Maybe if they do that, then they'll give him a new ticket for next year. That's what they've been doing. I know in Colorado they probably won't. They probably charge you double for that. I'm telling you. Hey, I've seen one elk. And a dang ticket and a tag out here is $823. Costs you $114 to just to get to apply for a tag. Yeah. And they sell that same elk. They got 6 seasons out here. Archery, muzzleloader, first, second, third, and a 4th rifle hunt. I don't understand it. Why they have to charge us $823 and some odd cents, plus the fee. There's nobody here. Nobody. There's no elk, and there's no people here hunting. We've got the whole place, the whole 1,000,000 acres of real estate here. All of this Routt National Forest and all this back in through here, we got it to ourselves. I mean, we've hunted for days and not seen nobody. And we see somebody, see a couple of vehicles parked here and there, then after a day or so, they leave. Then somebody else might come in for a little while, then they leave. But we don't run across any hunters in the woods. I've run across one, and it was 4 miles back, probably, back in the woods, off a trail. Good trail, nearly flat. So, yeah, I know it was. Yeah, it was. Just a couple of little small 15-foot rise hills. Other than that, it's pretty flat. Walking the edge of a fence that's on National Forest. Got in there over a beaver pond, and there he sat. So, good spot. That's where I was headed. He beat me in there, so I left. And that's the only person I've seen in the woods. That's it. Normally, you have to bring your own tree to lean up against out here. There's no snow, no nothing. Temperatures in the 40s, nothing. The rut's not really kicked in good for the mule deer. There's no elk present at all. Nothing. Nobody. Now in the second season, it snowed 2 days, and the elk moved then. And a boy out here in the Wilderness Ranch said the boys that was around him out there said there was probably 30 of them altogether from like 5 different cabins there. Said there's about 30 of them altogether. So I think they killed 14. But it was 14 killed. What was it? Six bulls and 8 cows. Yeah, out of the 30 hunters. So they done all right, but I mean, that's every other one, basically, or less. So that's a big bite. If you come all this way, spend a couple $1,000, don't even see anything, because we're not here. They've not recovered from that kill off, and they're still trying to make us pay for them. Beats all I've ever seen. Well, anyway, that's my rambling and everything. This is going to be part of Bob's Bitch and Bench and Miracle Works. Not that I worked a miracle. No, I did not. I worked that. Okay. Now, since I said miracle, I'm going to have to add this. This is I got to add this. This is a miracle in and amongst itself. I had no part of it. My buddy had no part of it. The doctors, I don't think, had any part of it. And the only thing I can say is it was a miracle from God. That's just it, plain and simple. One of our buddies, it's over here, He's from Pennsylvania. Name of Paul Lefevre. Good man. He's 74 years old. He had a knot come up on his shoulder. His left, I think it was. No, it's his right. On his right shoulder bone, collarbone right there. This little knot, then it started getting bigger. It come up to a baseball, softball size. Huge. Well, he went to the doctor. Doctor said cancer. Okay. Went in there and started doing the radiation, doing the chemo and everything else like that, and it started shrinking and everything. And then he got really bad, and found it in a couple other places in his body. And they was dosed him up, the doctors was, and he was laying in there, and he's a big youngin'. I'm gonna say 350 plus pounder, and he liked to eat. He still likes to eat. So anyway, the doctors told his girlfriend, said, "It's out of our hands. There's nothing else we can do for him. He's laying there and he's got pneumonia and he's doing the death rattles and all that, and they're trying to soothe him best they can and everything." So she called my buddy John. John called me and said, "Get up off your fat, dead, lazy butt and let's go." And I said, "We going to Pennsylvania?" And he said, "We're going to Pennsylvania." Okay, got a bag packed. Let me change clothes right real quick. So I just got out of the shower not 10 minutes ago. Put on work clothes, but I said I can change right out of something into something appropriate. So went, got up there, and he was laying in that bed, and he done give up. I mean, he was just laying there rattling like one thing. And he's just gray, just ash gray. Well, they'd come in there that morning earlier and drawed several vials of blood from him. And we got in there and we woke him up. We told him, "Get up from there. Ain't nothing wrong with you. Get up from there." And he looked at us, and me and John, or John and me, whatever like that. His girlfriend hadn't told him that we was coming. She told John that the doctors didn't know if he'd last a day, a week, a month, or an hour. Said it was out of their hands. They just didn't know nothing. Well, we got him. He woke up and seen us, and he started crying like a baby. He didn't know whether he was alive, dead, or whatever. He was tickled to death to see us. He got his phone out, and he called his girlfriend, and he cried for 30 minutes that we was up there. We thought enough of him that we come from Georgia up to see him. And so we made him sit up. We said, "Sit up, Paul." Said, you're rattling too much. You need better breath. Said, "Sit up a little bit there." So we set him up, helped him up and everything without hurting him or anything. And a doctor come in. My buddy John, it's like me. He's got a little more Cherokee in him than I do. A little bit more. And he went full, and I mean he went full asshole mode on that doctor. He jacked the stool up and kicked it out from under him. And I'm telling you, he went ballistic on him. He told him, said, all you're doing is letting him lay there and die. Said, give him a damn breathing treatment, something to help ease him off and get him up off his fat, dead, lazy ass and make him walk. Said, if you don't, he'd be dead in a few days. Said, ain't nothing wrong with him that a couple of breathing treatments won't take care of, and a little bit of walking. Well, the doctor, okay. Since John was in his face, I mean big time. And the doctor ordered some breathing treatments. Said, hey, it can't hurt, so let's try it. So he gave him some breathing treatment on him with them steroids, massive inhalers. They come in there and put a patch on his chest. I don't know what kind of patch it was. And we said, Paul, anything that you need or want right now? Here in in the foreseeable future. He said, I need something to eat. Said, I can't eat this hospital food. Said, ain't got no flavor. Said, they don't. Said, they feed you just garbage. Said, there's nothing to it. He said, I just can't eat it. I ain't getting no energy out of it, no protein, nothing like that. I said, no sooner said than delivered. And me and John looked at each other and I said, let's go. So we went to the steakhouse, got him a big steak, gave him a big ribeye, medium well, or medium rare, and baked potato, salad with this ranch dressing and everything, and took it back to him. And he said, he's still sitting there. He'd actually got up. By the time we had went and got his steak and come back, he'd actually walked about 50 feet out the door and down the hall and 50 feet back and sat down. Longest he'd walked in a month, they said. Or he said, longest I've walked in a month. So then after he ate his steak, we was sitting there, and one of the not a doctor, but one of the officials, whatever you want to call it, directors, whatever, the hospital, and one of the cancer nurses, or cancer doctors or specialists, whatever it is, come in there and they said, Mr. Lefevre, she said, that spot that's on your neck right there, it's eat your collarbone out. Said, there's no denying about that. Said, the collarbone, that is gone. Said, but what was there is no bigger than a pea. Said, the other two spots on your pancreas and liver are gone. Said, your blood work shows absolutely no cancer running through your body at all. At all. And we looked there, and we looked at each other and said, how's our miracle? We prayed for it all, the whole way up there and everything, and we'd had prayer with him that morning. And so, anyway, he said, no cancer? None. So we can't find it. It's not on your x-rays we took yesterday. He said, we can't find it. Said, it's not in your blood work. Said, you show clear. Said, but we're gonna give you chemo. And said, we're gonna make sure that it don't come back for a while. And he said, it may come back, it may not come back. Said, but we're gonna give you chemo till it comes out your ears to keep it from coming back, and you can live a lot longer and do a lot more things. And so we cried together and everything, celebrated, and we didn't want to do it too loud because there's a man over in the other bed over there they'd moved in that he was beyond hospice. I mean, they put him in there and he was on a morphine drip, was wide open. I mean, bless his heart, he was a breathing corpse. He had enough wherewithal to talk, but I mean, he was just ate up and gone. And we didn't want to disturb his family too much about celebrating him being cancer free, but we did. We prayed for him too, that he would pass as painless as possible. If he's going to go, please let him go as painless as possible, and as quick as possible. To spare any suffering of him. So, but anyway, the next day after 3 or 4 o'clock, he went home. Paul did. And he went every 2 weeks for his chemo. And he's out here in Colorado right now hunting. He killed a mule deer the other day. And he's down over there with his little dog Jack, a little Jack Russell Terrier, and which we dearly love. And his girlfriend says, I don't know what I'm going to do if he dies. What am I going to do with this dog? The dog don't like me at all. Said nobody around. Said he won't do anything with anybody except growl at them and bark. And so we went over to his house there to see the little dog, and the little dog heard us talking. and he liked to pull the steps off, trying to get to us. They had him chained to the steps so he could run around and run off a little bit of energy, because she couldn't catch him if he come off us. She laid him off a leash right there in the area he's at. She couldn't catch him. He'd be off down in Paul's work area and everything. He knowed better than getting the road, but he'd be off down in the junkyard and everything, or whatever Paul's had down there. So she had him hooked to the steps there on a cable. So then he come to the end of that cable, and he was a dancing. He wanted to see us, and he just all over us. She said, I've never seen him do that to anybody but Paul. He said, well, if something happens to Paul, said, you make the phone call and we'll be up here. One of us will be here to get the dog. That's how much the dog means to us too, Well, we bring him in here and we throw a tennis ball for him. So he has a ball in here. Well, anyway, I thought I'd put that out there. I mean, not everything's doom and gloom as you see, and everything happens for a reason. Sometimes it's for the good, sometimes it's not. But always remember, the good Lord has a plan, and you just need to shut everything out and just listen. That's all you got to do. It don't have to come from above or down below or whatever. It comes from within, usually. So when it does, listen, act, and be nice to everybody. Or try to. All of us assholes try to. Anyway, I apologize for the language, but hey, that's everybody in a nutshell can be one. I mean, we're not all Osmonds, so, we can't all be perpetually happy, but we can try. Anyway, till next time, Bobby Shields say, God bless.